Hey everybody, it's Jack with Future Pastimes, and we are reading Dune. Now we're in a chapter now in the desert, and Chani is, she's been rushed via ornithopter, which is unusual because Muad'Dib doesn't want them using their ornithopters just yet, the ones that they've captured, because it gives things away to the Harkonnens who might be out on patrol. It might cause an engagement. But there was apparently an urgent need for Chani to be rushed to where Muad'Dib is. And so she's greeted by Othium, who's one of Paul's Fedaykin lieutenants, and sent up. And there she encounters Lady Jessica. And Lady Jessica greets her in a formal Fremen way. And Chani's a little bit confused. She's like, why are we using these formal greetings? There seems to be some urgency for me being here, and where is Paul? But Jessica is going through the steps because she really wants to take this opportunity to get a read on Chani, because she knows that Chani is well steeped in the Fremen culture, and something is going on that Jessica is trying to keep a lid on. And I think, she trusts Chani, but she does want to take the necessary steps to figure out if Chani is the right person to help them figure out what has happened. So they go through this conversation where they're talking about, baby Leto and how things are going, and they got to get some cloth from one of the other Sietches and make some little clothes for him. And Chani is trying to stay in control, but she's starting to lose her mind. And Jessica can sense that she's exhibiting that control, but she's clearly worried about what's going on. So finally, Jessica lets her in on what is happening. And Paul is currently in a death-like trance that anybody without the really skilled training of and observational skills that the Bene Gesserit have would just assume that he's dead. There's no heartbeat, there's no pulse. But they don't know why. Jessica doesn't know why, what has happened, what is going on. And between her and Chani, they figured out. And Chani goes to his side immediately, and she can smell the spice, but there's something else going on. And so she asks for Lady Jessica to take some water of life and to convert it. And but what happens is Paul comes out of his trance finally, and he explains that he tasted just a drop of the water of life, and this is what it did to him. But that he is now, his body has figured it out, and he takes some and he drinks it, and Jessica's like, what are you doing? And he's like, no, it's fine, because I am the Kwisatz Haderach. And he goes through this very similar thing that Jessica went through when Reverend Mother Ramallo was giving up her life and doing the process of transferring all of her memories over to Jessica and to Aliyah at the same time. And Paul has pulled her into that trance as well. And he says, I want you to direct your focus towards the place that women can't look, that the place that the Reverend Mother Mohiam warned him about. And Jessica's like, no, I just don't want. And Paul's like, you have to. And so she does. And it's terrifying. And Paul is able to look into it, and he realizes that yes, he is the Kwisatz Haderach, but there's something more, and he understands why it is that the women can't look there. And so it has to do with this idea that is in their genetic signature going back to the start of humanity, and it's this sort of genetic stamp that is divided into takers and givers. And the most terrifying thing to the taker instinct is the giver, and vice versa. But he is transcended that. And so Jessica is like, well, then you can see the futures. And Paul is saying, I can see the now. And he explains that he knows what's going on. He knows that in the sky above them right now are highliners filled with the Emperor, the Harkonnens, and other houses of the Landsraad, and they're waiting for the guild to give them permission to land on Arrakis. And the reason that the guild haven't done that just yet is because they're trying to use their own prescience to figure out where Paul is and what Paul is up to. And Paul realizes now is the time. They have to take advantage of everything that's going on. And he instructs Chani to get the water and set it on a pre-spice mass. And everybody freaks out about that because they understand what will happen. And what will happen is that water will kill basically all of the sand trout, and it will cause a chain reaction across the planet that will destroy all of the sandworms, all of Shai-Hulud, which are integral to the cycle of creating spice. And so what he's saying is he wants to be able to demonstrate to the guild and beyond that he has the capability to destroy all spice on Arrakis, which will utterly cripple the Imperium. It will make the guild basically unable to navigate, and it will have a ripple effect on all other houses in the Landsraad and the Emperor himself. So Paul knows that this is the first step, so they go ahead and they do it. And the chapter ends with him, saying we need to get ready because it's going to be time to strike. So it's a very impactful chapter, and a lot of it is kind of in that Frank Herbert esoteric zone where you may not fully grasp everything the first time that you're reading through it. It's taken me several times, and I'm not even 100% sure that I fully grasp everything that's in there. So I certainly invite other interpretations or insights and discussion and pushback, but this is what I've been taken away from this chapter. So a lot of important stuff, and it gets into the more of the mysticism of Dune, which is the part of Dune that I resisted for a long time as a young reader. I was much more interested in the straightforward action, stuff that has to do with prophecy and visions of the future and quasi-religious stuff doesn't interest me as much, and it still doesn't quite as much, but I've come to appreciate it in Dune a lot more, especially as I've become more educated about other cultures on our own planet, many of which Herbert draws upon in building up Dune. And so that is certainly more interesting to me now. But it is one of the things that I struggled with for a long time as I was reading through Dune. And it creeps back in the sequel books as well. It's still a front and center element to Dune. So brace yourself if you continue to read after this book, if you haven't already. So there you have it for this chapter. We're getting very close to the end. Like I said, this is how much is in here, but there's some appendices in the back, so not that much. We will continue to forge on. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.